If you're an Amazon seller and using Seller Central to see how profitable your business is, well, the numbers are wrong. And I don't mean slightly off. They're missing reimbursements that Amazon owe you, they're missing discrepancies in your inventory, and they're showing you profit figures that are just completely off the actual numbers. So in today's video, I'm going to be walking through the 3 main reasons why you can't use Seller Central to see how profitable your business is, and I'm going to be showing you what a proper setup looks like instead. Let's get into the video. So the first main problem we have with Amazon Seller Central is it tells you revenue and not profit. Now, some people really like looking at the revenue number rather than the profit number. And why is that? Well, the revenue number is always going to be a lot higher. But if you're using it as an indication of how much profit you're making, you are potentially going to be really far from the mark. This is because the revenue figure doesn't include your cost of goods. It also doesn't include where Amazon makes a mess up. For example, maybe you send in some items and Amazon loses them and you only get reimbursed a portion of what you paid for them. And there are so many things such as hidden fees that really can affect your margin. Well, why do we care too much about this? Well, this is mainly looking at restocking. For example, if you're looking at a product that's maybe one of your highest in revenue, but actually after fees and cost of goods it isn't too profitable, that goes from a product that looks like you should be reordering to actually a product you should be staying away from. Now you might say, well, actually I keep record of my cost of goods. Well, that's brilliant, but actually even still a lot of people actually mark down their cost of goods completely wrong. And this is mainly because they're using a on average. Now, if I'm reordering a product, maybe the first time I bought it, it was only $5, and maybe now it's up to $6. Well, if I'm only making, let's say, about $2 per product, that is a massive kick into the sort of margin I'm making. But if I'm just leaving it at $5, the product is looking as profitable as it was on the first order. Now, I actually had this happen to me personally, and it wasn't actually because the price of the product went up in price. It was actually a case of there wasn't as good of a discount code. So because there wasn't as good of a discount code and I still went and reordered, I did still go and make profit, but I kind of looked back on it and saying, actually, maybe I'm only making a 15% profit, whereas previously I was making a 30% profit because of how much cheaper I was getting because of a previously, well, unexpired discount code. So as a result, how do you stop this happening? Well, what you need to do is you need to make a batch cost of good for the products. So basically this means for each shipment that does get sent into Amazon, you need to then go and associate a cost of goods. So maybe let's say the cost of goods hasn't changed, well, you just go and input the previous cost of goods. But if the cost of goods has gone and changed, it is very important to go and put that new cost of goods, because let's say, you know, the current price you're selling it for is still profitable, but then a few competitors jump on and you go to lower the price. It's great to be aware that actually now it's not looking too profitable, even if it would have been profitable at the previous price. Now, the second problem with using Seller Central as your main way of seeing how profitable your business is basically abstracting all the data from it. Now, it would be brilliant if they just could go and create a spreadsheet and it would have had your cost of goods, your profits, how much profit you're making after some reimbursements. But Amazon like to put all of your different sort of data in completely different reports, meaning to piece it again together not only is going to go and take you lots of time and admin, but it is going to basically open up for human error. Whereas if it's done automatically, well, then it lowers the human error and gives you a bit more time to do the stuff that's more profitable, maybe for sourcing, for example. Now, I remember back to my earlier days, I was kind of selling a lot of cheaper stuff because, of course, you kind of want to lower the risk, you want to sell cheaper stuff. Now, I was seeing something I bought for, let's say, £7 and went and got and sold for about £13, £14. Now, in picture, and again, when you explain Amazon to a lot of people, they'll think that's great profit in that. But what I wasn't aware of were the Amazon fees and actually how high these Amazon fees can get. And if you're a new seller, it can be very daunting. So that product that I went and bought for £7 and sold for £14 looks like I should be making good money. But it was barely profitable after all those Amazon fees, which is why it's very good to be aware of all the fees from the early days, because it stops you making mistakes like this. And reason 3. Now, this is an interesting one because I was actually teaching someone about Amazon the other day, and I was basically telling them that Amazon does everything to go and screw you over. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about now. That is that Amazon will go and lose your stock and they will go and damage your stock, and they won't even go and tell you about it. In fact, I'd say if you're watching this video and you haven't gone and checked if Amazon's lost or damaged your stock, I would definitely recommend to go and do it, because there is some great money in the reimbursement. reimbursements. And the reason you can get reimbursements, and this is quite nice, because as soon as you've gone and sent it to Amazon, it is now Amazon's fault if they go and damage it, if they go and lose it, if they go and, let's say, send it to a buyer and it's damaged on the way from the courier. Now you might be saying, but Dan, I've received reimbursements from Amazon when they've done this. Well, yeah, Amazon does actually reimburse automatically sometimes, but not all the times. And that is the main problem, is because maybe you fall into a kind of a safe net thinking, okay, Amazon has reimbursed me because they've gone and lost thing here and there. That is not the full picture, and there is probably a lot of money still on the table, especially if you haven't chased it up. But I do have some bad news if you have been selling on Amazon and you haven't gone and chased these up. Now, it used to be that you had 18 months to go and chase up reimbursements, which means probably a lot of new sellers, even now, will probably have to go and get reimbursements for everything they've sold in the last year. But now they've made it down to 60 days. Out of greed, who knows? This means that if you don't go and catch these discrepancies within the 60-day window, you've got no chance, and that's money you've just lost. Now the problem is, to do this manually, it either might not be a cost-efficient thing for you to do, or it is just very difficult. Now why is it very difficult? This is because you have to go and cross-reference multiple reports against each other, and then once you've even gone and found these discrepancies, you then have to write a case and send it to Amazon and make sure you include all the information and specific details for them to be able to go and reimburse you. And the reality is if you haven't given the right details, they'll just flog you off and you won't be able to get a reimbursement, and you've gone and wasted time going to chase it. But to go and fix this problem and all the other problems we've talked about in today's video, SellerToolKit, who has been created by Amazon sellers for Amazon sellers. And a brand new feature they now offer is automated reimbursements. What SellerToolKit will do is it will monitor your inventory automatically using a Chrome extension, and it's going to go and automatically file those claims with Amazon. And in fact, most SellerToolKit users find out that this feature alone covers the whole of SellerToolKit, and SellerToolKit has loads of other great features. For example, we were talking earlier about cost of goods and how you want to put them into each batch you send in per shipment. Well, SellerToolKit has all of that included. This means that every single order of every single item is calculated going off of the inventory that was sent in for that specific item. This means that every single order that you manage to go and get on Amazon is going to be accurate to the profit. It's no estimates, no guesses, and it has all this information as well as loads of other really useful data all in one dashboard. Well, if you want to see what this looks like on your account, well, you can go and get a free trial of SellerToolKit in the top link in the description. And if you want to watch another video on how to optimize your Amazon business, make sure to go and check out this video right here.